The cavern opened up just ahead, and the poor, damned soul crawled his way into the freeing space. But he wasn't out of hell just yet. The dark, rocky chamber he'd found wasn't empty, and he wasn't alone. The other, who stood in the middle of the cavern before two, outstretched its long, wiry arms and bid him welcome. Weary, and with a nearly feral snarl, the damned soul told the other, "I fought my way through demons and nightmares to get here. Through blood and torture, and through torment, and torment after torment. Don't think I won't fight you too." But the creature whose face was featureless spoke to the damned soul and said, "But we are not here to fight you. You are free to proceed as you choose so." But the creature, whose face was featureless, spoke to the damned soul and said, "But we are not here to fight you. You are free to proceed as you so choose. You are free to a single choice. But be warned, for we stand at guard, for not just the doorway of salvation, but of darkness and despair as well." The man, confused at the creature's prattling, asked, "Who is we?" The creature, who was covered in a long, tattered black cloak, reached up to its naked face. Where its right eye should have been, its long, pale claw peeled away its skin underneath, and what should have been an empty cavity, naked, chattering teeth spoke. "There is no we." As the damned soul watched, the creature tore free the flesh from its left side as well, exposing not an eye, but another set of jaws. The second set of jaws then spoke and said, "There are three. I am Kisudo. The other," it said, alluding to the first set of eyes, "is called Index." Finally, with its long index finger, the creature carved across its face from cheek to cheek, as if opening a zipper, and the final, largest set of jaws smiled through the gap. It concluded by saying in the loudest voice of all, "And I am called Loki Verat. Together our tongues are called Victusos, the Guardian." The naked, damned soul inched forward towards the still warm, still welcoming specter. Cautiously, he casted his glance over the creature's thin shoulders. "You seek passage?" asked Loki Verat. "Yes, you seek one of our doors," chattered the voice called Imdax. "Either mine or the door of Kesudo." There were indeed two doors. One on the creature's left, the eluded door of Kesudo, and one on the right, the eluded door of Imdax. Both were wooden. Both were identical. Both were unmarked. "How am I to know which is which?" asked the damned soul. "This is why we are here, of course," hissed Loki Verat, "to guide you." "But be warned," spoke Kisudo. "The choice is not to be made lightly." If I choose wrongly?" asked the damned soul. "As we said," Loki Verat said, raising a cautionary finger. "One door leads to salvation, but only one. Choose poorly, and you will receive only endless despair, endless darkness." "It can't be worse than what I've seen," the damned soul croaked fearfully. To this, all three mouths responded in short. They chuckled. The damned soul, closely watching the guardian as he did so, moved nearer to the two doors. On a closer inspection, he cursed. He didn't know which one to pick. Careful, Loki Verret warned from behind. Once chosen, you cannot go back. You may risk the odds if you'd like. Or, the damned soul inquired, aware that there was a deal to be made. Or, you can hear our riddle. Came all three voices at once. The only assistance we can offer you, said Imdax. The desperate, damned soul decided that it was the only way. He had come much too far and sacrificed too much to let this stop him. He came before the Guardian, and before the Guardian's three tongues, Imdax, Casudo, and Loki Verret. He stood before them and asked of them what riddle they had planned for him. Before you are two doors, Imdax said. The doorways you see beyond to me and Casudo are through one of them, is your path to salvation. You may ask one question, Casudo said, to any of our tongues, one and only one, and that is all you are permitted. After, Loki Verret warned, you will be on your own, with nothing more than the information that we have bestowed upon you. So, you must choose your question carefully, but even more so than the question, you must be wary of whom you ask. Casudo smirked, because between Imdax and I, one of us lies, and the other tells the truth, Imdax sneered. One of us will speak freely, Casudo promised. And all, Loki Verret concluded, will try to deceive. You must make two choices now, and I say now, most honestly, consider them well. So, the damned soul thought. He thought on the riddle for a time left unmeasured. And after so long in damnation, the time he spent on anything mattered so little to him. It mattered little to the Guardian either, who stood there watching the damned soul with greedy fingers interlocked, and a gaping grin across all of its faces. It was a riddle of two doors. A riddle of two doors and two guardians. One door to freedom, to salvation, and one door to instant death, darkness, and despair. As the Guardian had clearly said, one must lie, able to speak freely, as Casudo had said, and another would be honest, although hoping to deceive by being indistinguishable from the liar. The guards were Imdax and Casudo. One must have been the liar, and one must have been the honest tongue. And the answer was so elusive. It seemed to dance around just out of the damned soul's reach for the longest time. He couldn't ask them which door was safe, for he knew not which of the two was the honest tongue. He couldn't ask them which one was the honest guard, for the same reason. He couldn't ask a question to prove which one was honest, for even though he could ask them a math question, an equation with a factual answer that he knew to prove who the liar was. But it would leave him without an answer for the door. But there had been an answer to the riddle. He knew this. There was a question, a singular question that when asked to the truth teller or the liar would reveal the correct answer each time. It existed, and the damned soul was positive he could find it. When, and only when, the damned soul was positive of the answer did he come forward. "I've thought," he said cockily, "and I know what I must ask. I know that one of you will now answer falsely, and another will be truthful." He pointed at the door on the guardian's right. "I could ask Index if that is the correct door, but I have no idea if Amdax is the liar or not. Same for Kesudo. It leaves me the same chances." The guardian tilted its head, almost as if with an acute fascination. "But I don't need to do that," the damned soul said. "I know one tongue. One of your demon eyes will speak freely and tell the truth." The guardian's maws all stretched wide in sinister grins, causing the man to hesitate. The guardian seemed pleased. "The other will lie," he continued less confidently, "and try to deceive, which means there is only one question I can ask. There is one question that, when asked to either the honest or dishonest guard, will reveal, in both scenarios, the false door. Because one will be honest and one must lie. One will be honest about the liar, and one will lie about he who is honest." The damned soul smirked. "I've heard this riddle before." The damned soul pointed up right at Amdax, and he asked his question. "Which door will Kesudo tell me to pick?" Amdax, guard of the left door, opened his mouth, ready to speak. "Which door will Kesudo tell me to pick?" Amdax, guard of the left door, opened his mouth, ready to speak, and then, hesitantly, it said, "He would tell you to take the door to your right." The damned soul, for the first time in a long while, laughed. He laughed and laughed, for he knew he had won. "So," he said, "the door on the left is the one? It's your door, Amdax, because the liar would tell me to take the right door, and the honest one of you would tell me what the liar would say. Either way, you both would have given me the false answer. Am I right? Did I solve your damned riddle?" The guardian did not answer. The damned soul knew why. His question had been spent. The only response it could offer was silence. All the smiles had faded from its face, granting it an entirely passive and impartial visage. The guardian rotated in place, following as if with unseen eyes as the damned soul crossed the room. Past the creature, the damned soul put his hand on the left door. For a moment, he wondered what it would be like on the other side. He asked himself what he would do first. Run? Roll in the grass? Swim in the ocean? Lie beneath the stars? He wondered how much had changed as he pushed the door open, stepped through, and allowed it to shut behind him. From the moment it shut, the smiles fractured back into the guardian's face. All three mouths chuckled, for they knew the truth. The damned soul hadn't been terribly foolish, but he had failed to truly listen. In that failure to truly listen, the damned soul had made two fatal assumptions. His first assumption, the assumption that their game started when he asked his question. A failure to recognize that it had started from the moment the damned soul entered the chamber. The failure to realize that from the very beginning, all three tongues had been in character. And the assumption allowed the second to take hold, not by accident, but by design. His second assumption, the assumption that only two of the voices had mattered. The assumption that Loki Verat was inconsequential. "For one mouth will speak the truth," said Loki Verat truthfully. "One will speak freely," Kesudo said, as it wished. "None will lie," said Imdex falsely. "And all," said the Guardian in unison, stepping forward, revealing the third and final door that had been hiding beneath its cloak, "will try to deceive."